Over the last few years, our nation has experienced a great number of changes. And depending on which side of the political aisle you may find yourself on would determine your perspective on whether these changes have been for the betterment of our nation or at times to its detriment. But no matter what level of your political involvement, whether you are a concerned voter watching this video right now, or someone who sits in an elected office of great influence in this country, I know one thing to be true about each of you. You love this country. I know that you love it because of how passionately you pursue the policy and progress that you believe will bring about lasting good for generations to come. And right now, I'm calling on Americans to recognize and consider that we sit on the precipice of a great divide in our nation. Because there stand on both sides of the aisle individuals and organizations who would seek to alter or abolish the very foundation of the freedom that gives us the ability not only to unite, but also the freedom to disagree, the Constitution of the United States. Presently, there remains an empty seat at the table of the highest court in the land, and that seat has been empty for long enough. Because there stands a man ready to fill it, who has long been more than a partaker of our nation's benefits, but a benefactor, a table setter, a contributor, and a protector of the bounty of our United States. He's a 1987 cum laude graduate of Yale College, a 1990 degree holder with honors from Yale Law, and a current Harvard Law School lecturer. But he's more than a career man. He is a public servant, a youth basketball coach, a church volunteer, a family man, a local school mentor who was raised himself under the tutelage and mentorship of Judge Martha Kavanaugh, who blazed a trail for women in the legal profession. Professionally, he's clerked for Justice Kennedy in the Supreme Court, served as staff secretary to President George W. Bush, served more than a decade on the D.C. Court of Appeals, which is called and regarded as the second highest court in the land, where he was approved by senators on both sides of the political aisle. Yet through all of the busyness of his private and professional practice, he still found time to accept multiple pro bono cases to help those who could not help themselves. The Supreme Court has endorsed his opinions more than a dozen times. 210 judges across the land have cited his opinions, and scores of times his opinions have become the law of the land. He is a judge's judge, the most qualified individual to hold this office. And I'm calling on Republicans and Democrats alike to unite not under party banners, but atop the foundation of the nation that we claim to love and that we call home. I'm calling on Republicans and Democrats to approve Judge Brett Kavanaugh, a man who decides cases not on party lines of personal preference, but on a clear interpretation of the Constitution of the United States. He protects personal freedoms while respecting the precedents that have been set in place by those who have gone before him. In the words of Judge Kavanaugh, the judge's job is to interpret the law, not to make law or to make policy. So read the words of the statute as written, read the text of the Constitution as written, mindful of history and tradition. Don't make up new constitutional rights that are not in the text of the Constitution, and do not shy away from enforcing the constitutional rights that are in the text of the Constitution. I'm calling on Republicans and Democrats to approve a constitutional defender, Judge Brett Kavanaugh. And I'm calling on you, the American voter, the individuals who elected other individuals to represent your interests in Washington, D.C., to contact your senators and contact your congressmen and let them know that you want a man to sit at the table of the Supreme Court of the United States to represent the Constitution that guarantees and grants our freedom, the greatest legal document ever to be penned, the document that guarantees our freedom. We want Judge Brett Kavanaugh.